All right, here we go. The truth in sports. Tonight, well, today it's actually daytime. I got a little, I don't know, glare or whatever going on, but it's not important that you see me. Mainly, it's important that you hear me because I'm gonna share some knowledge with you about what's going on with the Miami Heat and how they're going to, if they are going to win a championship, what they're going to need to do to get themselves in championship contending state. You might hear it in the background. There's First and 10 on the television or something, but look, this is the thing. I'm listening to some of the sportscasters this morning, as well as some of the talking heads on talk radio, talking about the Miami Heat. Last night, I did watch the game against Boston, and it was a mess, really. The first half was really, just. And this is the thing. This is the whole problem with the Miami Heat. I'm gonna give it to you. You got the truth in sports. I'm gonna give you the inside look on this thing. Knowing what I know and having somewhat of a sports psychology type feel for the game. This team really doesn't have an identity right now. It's early in the season. They don't have an identity. Yes, they can win some games on talent alone, and you've seen them do that in a few games. They decided to really clamp down on Orlando and completely shut them down. And that had people thinking that this team was already where they needed to be to win a championship. That really opened some people's eyes. But as you see them play Boston, you see them give up a 22-point lead to Utah, then you notice that they're not where they need to be. But I'm going to tell you what they need to do to get where they need to be. Now, number one, Eric Spolestra is not the coach for this team. He's not the answer. And I know it's early, it's only 9 games, but he is not going to lead them to a championship. And I'll tell you why. One, when you listen to him talk, yes, he may know X's and O's and things like that, but he doesn't have the motivational factors that will cause these guys to play at their full potential. And you see it with most coaches that win championships. I don't care who they are. You do have some X's and O's guys that get there, but mainly when you look at any sport, whether it be Phil Jackson with the Zen Master crazy mess, Larry Brown with what he does and how he motivates the team, Greg Popovich with his, he can go off on a player on any moment and they fear him, even though, he's about a foot shorter than a lot of these guys and old, but still he has an authoritative approach. And with today's NBA players and today's sports players, period, if you don't carry a weight of authority with you, you don't reach these guys. Yeah, they can go out and win on talent and self-pride and things like that, but when it comes to fighting battles, and I use that analogy, I know they aren't really fighting battles, but when it comes to crunch time, and you got somebody like Doc Rivers that'll get in their face, that's fiery, that can reach the heart of these players and get them to play hard. Eric Spoelstra won't make it. Pat Riley can, should he step in. If he wants to do what he's put this team together to do, he's going to have to step in or find a coach that has that type of mantle that can rally these guys. The other thing is LeBron and D Wade. Chris Bosh, he's a total disappointment so far, and they can talk about playing defense and everything else, but every power forward that they've played that can put the ball in the basket has totally destroyed him. He's no resistance at all, and it's real disappointing to see. But they still can win because I think what they need to do is really play Z a little bit more than what they do. Z has been playing good ball. I mean, he's 7'3". I mean, you can't change that fact that he's 7'3". And when he was in the game, Shaq wasn't getting anywhere near the basket. People say, well, what are they going to do against Gasol and big people like that? Z played with Cleveland when Cleveland totally destroyed the Lakers with Gasol on Christmas Day last year. So all they need to do is put Z on Gasol, and that neutralizes him because Z is 7'3". That's the thing. Z is 7'3". Gasol's not jumping over anybody. So it's just size on size. That's an answer for that. But they need to play Z more. And I think they did somewhat. The other thing, Dwayne Wade. Let me get on him for a minute. And I'm looking at the way this team is constructed, and people saying LeBron's going to have to change his game the most and become more of a facilitator. Which one of the things LeBron has shown, he can play the facilitator role and get 14, 15 assists, 20 points, 10, 12 rebounds. He can do that. But in doing that against um, Utah, that wasn't enough. Because then in overtime and in the fourth quarter, Dwayne was still trying to be Dwayne Wade, and I'm, taking over the team, and it's my team, and I'm gonna lead us down the stretch, and did not, came up real short. One thing about LeBron is you cannot stop him from getting to the basket late in games. And if you got to ride that horse, if that's what it's going to take until you get your 3-point shooters to where they can make shots consistently, or Udonis Haslem's, hats off to him because he's a player. He shows up and plays. And LeBron was getting him the ball, pick and roll, boom, popping it back out to Udonis, boom. He's knocking down those little jump shots. I think he had like 21 points. Same thing he does with Z. But Chris Paul, Chris Bosh, he's still like he's a little confused and tentative and not really trusting his game. But this is what they need to do. They're going to have to decide, and I know it's against what a lot of people think, that Dwayne Wade is going to have to accept the fact that, you know what, I'm going to let LeBron James be the guy on this team, quote unquote, because I truly believe unless you are the Detroit Pistons of a few years ago and everybody respects everybody's game equally and there's no the guy, so to speak, there's Rip Hamilton, there's Rasheed Wallace, there's Chauncey Billups, there's Tayshaun Prince, there's Ben Wallace. Everybody just loves their role, and it can be any given play on any given night that goes, for 30 or 25 or whatever needed for them to win. They were a perfect blend of talent and temperament, but that's not what you have on the Miami Heat. And I don't think you can change the nature of these guys to be that way. So, with that being said, you're going to have a guy. And from what I can see over these first 9 games, they've tried to have Dwayne Wade be the guy. That's not working, folks. I know it's early, but that's not working. And the reason I say that is LeBron, with the ball in his hands, he does make good decisions. He has a few turnovers here and there. He's learning personalities. He's impossible to guard and can get to the basket and finish. We saw time and time again in this game where Dwayne Wade, with taller players in the lane, getting to the basket but couldn't finish. Also, I think if Dwayne Wade decide, you know what, if I play my game and I know that LeBron is the guy, Wade will still get 25 points a game if he plays off LeBron, allows LeBron to be the guy, and he plays off LeBron, he'll still get 25 points a game. Yeah, LeBron probably will get about 25 or 27 himself, but because they are force feeding that whole, I got to give the ball up, I got to give the ball up. Let your guy be the guy, which I feel like is LeBron James. Let Dwayne Wade play off LeBron, because LeBron is unselfish. He'll get Dwayne his shots. And then Chris Bosh and everybody else, Haslam or whoever else is on the floor with him. But let him be the guy. And then you solve this whole issue, and I think they take off and really become unbeatable, even with the lineup they have now. Because Ilgauskas can play that center position until he gets in foul trouble. Because he's 7'3", folks. He's still 7'3". He don't need to be able to run around. He's not chasing point guards on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Stay around the basket on defense and be tall. And that's what he is. So look, if anybody from the Miami Heat organization is listening out there or have any influence, take what I'm saying to heart, because if not, it's going to be a long and disappointing season. Another insert from the Truth in Sports. by Mr. James. I'm out, and God bless.